met and when your need is not being met. Because the truth, ladies, is that sometimes as you are aware of something new for the first time, you don't catch that the need is not being met. Like, you don't understand it yet enough. It is not become ingrained in you, like, oh, my need isn't being met, that's why I'm upset. You'll notice, though, your behavior changes, okay? So when your core need is met, you feel happy and content and excited and fulfilled and hopeful, okay? So I want you to think about your core need, and I want you to think about a time in your life when that core need was being met and how great you felt. Can you think about what it was? Or get just an example of what? Your engagement. Because you're loving connection and he's making a commitment. Okay? So that met hers and she felt hopeful and excited about the future, right? Who else has one?
Planning my husband's birthday weekend away.
So planning her husband's birthday weekend away. And because your core need is?
Quite a pleasure.
So she's having all kinds of fun. We're going to do this, and we're going to do that, and we're going to do this. Okay? I love that. What else?
When Anthony and I share our schedules.
Ooh. Because
then I don't have to question as to what is going on or like what the plans are. He doesn't have to question me, and we're all even
on the same. Yes, absolutely. One more. What are you and what was the time when your core need was being met? An example. Yeah.
Okay, so like my core need was safety and security. So right now I'm planning my wedding and Jeremiah's like, you do whatever you need to do to make it what you want. So he's leaving all the financial stuff and all the like huge stuff up to me just so he knows that
you get what you want.
Yes.
Okay, so she's the one in control of it all. Very good. So here's what I want you to understand. When your core need is not met, you're going to exhibit a stress behavior. And it comes in multiple forms, okay? Here are some stress behaviors. Isolating, becoming needy, blaming, making excuses, being too tired, being hyper, procrastinating, outbursts or fits of anger, becoming easily frustrated, whining, abnormal or impossible expectations of yourself and or others, impatience. So let's go back, let's pause for a second, and I want you to think back to a time in your life, ladies, when your core need was not met. When your safety and security was breached, when your love and connection was breached, when you didn't have fun and pleasure, when you didn't have a choice, okay? I want you to think back. What was that experience? Let's start there. Can anybody think of a time when theirs wasn't met and what was happening? Yeah?
I mean, COVID.
Because
I can't go anywhere or see anybody do anything.
And it wasn't your choice.
Exactly. Life is hard sometimes.
Okay? Yeah.
My last job, because I was always walking on eggshells and I never knew how the manager was going to come in that day, what her mood was like.
So.
Well, I had one of those.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. What else? Yeah.
COVID, because my mom is at higher risk for it, so my dad is like super psycho about it. So when my job was shut down, it was like we might be able to see family, but it would be at 6 feet social distance, and it still wasn't nice out. So I was like, I still had Travis there, but just I'm very family oriented, so not being able to see my family was killing me.
So instead she came and sat on my deck. I just look outside and there she was sitting there.
She's not wrong.
Mine was definitely COVID related too.
especially because I had Isabella in February, so I was off on maternity leave, and then I went back to work, or was planning on going back to work, and my old boss found out she had breast cancer and shut down their Dyersville office. So then I was jobless. So not only did I just have a baby and I was jobless, I'm very security minded. And then my husband tore his ACL and his meniscus, and he was off work too. So it was a very rough June, July.
See, what about you?
Mine was when I was going through my divorce. My financial situation was very estranged, especially paying for a lawyer and giving up half my stuff and having to buy like that was very stressful for me.
Absolutely. Anybody else? Yeah.
Mine is, well, my husband and I are very different, and I'm like, wanna go out and I wanna have date nights, and I wanna go, and his idea is like, let's go fish. Or, you know, or whatever, or I'll be like, you know, and then I'll be like, well, let's just go do something, like, take me out, you need to woo me if you want some loving, like, and like, and so
As his sister is enjoying.
like, just do it, and then I get angry, and I start blaming them, well, I mean, you would help me around here, it's like, yeah.
Okay, so that's a perfect lead-in. How many of you have a consistent stress behavior? Ooh, okay, so you already know what it is. Tell me what it is.
I cried.
She's a crier. Okay?
Too tired, I do nothing.
I'm too tired and just so tired. Yeah?
I'm kind of a both. So like the other day when my phone was acting up, I legit like deep cleaned that kitchen. Or on the opposite, I get too tired and just want to sleep.
Okay, so you have very manic tendencies.
I'm kind of like
Very
all over the
different.
place.
Okay.
Very short fused.
Very short fused. I get snappy.
I just internalize. I just
Ooh.
shut down and I don't communicate. I become very.
You withdraw.
Yep.
Okay.
I become very verbal.
Okay.
Anyway.
That was very polite.
Once it's out though, then I'm fine.
Okay. What do you do, Sid?
Me, sir? I just like I probably cry.
Cry?
The most.
Okay. What do you do, Kenya?
I get very emotional and it can go in a lot of different directions, but it's my heart is exposed and I'm extremely emotional.
Okay. So one thing that I will tell you that is another stress behavior that a lot of people don't know, they go to a place of doubt. Maybe it's a sign.
Oh, yeah.
I just need to think about what I really want. They become really introspective. You've already thought about it. You're here. You just have to see it through and it's uncomfortable. Okay? And so the reason that I'm saying that is because doubt and all of these other hosts of responses, none of them are serving. None of them will help you. You can cry and that does release. Okay, and that's not a bad thing. You can burst and release. But ultimately, none of them change it for the better, the way that recognizing what has happened will do for you. Okay? So if you know what your stress behavior is, again, sometimes when you're learning about a new concept, it's hard to be like, oh, you know what? I'm actually triggered because the core need has not been met. Like that's, I mean, you have to be pretty self-actualized, but you can catch yourself going, okay, I'm bawling again. What has happened? Like ask yourself some questions. What has happened? Now I want to specify this to your business. What is your stress behavior when your core need is not being met in your business?
I do nothing.
I do nothing. I can't do everything, so I'm going to do nothing.
Mm-hmm.
What else? Avoidance, organizing. That one's a really common one because there's a positive outcome, like it looks better, but it really hasn't moved anything forward, right? Okay, so that one, you guys gotta watch yourself because it seems like a productive thing. What else? What else? What happens in your business when your needs not met?
I repack all my stuff and clean up my space again. I do the same thing with my sewing business too.
Mm-hmm. And here's the thing. Do you guys know that I didn't organize anything for a year? But I earned a card and became a sales director. And then I hired someone to file it all.
Sorry, Sam.
What's me?
Oh, yeah.
So the reason I'm telling you that is because I want you to recognize what is not actually serving you, okay? What is not actually serving you. So when we look forward, I want to talk about how your relationships can be affected by this, and I want us to look at it from a business perspective, okay? I want us to talk about what's going to happen when these people meet each other, either as your customer or as your potential team member, and how your core need can sometimes be impressed upon them and you can miss theirs, or how to better meet theirs once you discern what it is. Okay? Have any of you ever wondered how to kind of talk to somebody and figure out what their core need is? Anybody ever wondered that? Okay. So one of the things I do is I always start with tell me about yourself. Okay? That'll tell you a lot about a person. Okay? Tell me a little bit about yourself. What if she says, well, I'm the youngest VP in company history? She's probably power and achievement. Or she's got at least some of that. It's a stronger inclination, right? If she says, I have 18 children, I've been married for 26 minutes, and, whatever, like, she's probably got some love and connection, right? And if she says, why do you want to know?
Security.
She's safety and security, okay? And if she's like, oh my gosh, my name is Celine Bennett, and I sang with Up With People. Okay, my friend Celine, that's literally within 8 minutes of knowing her, but she sang with Up With People and they went overseas. Okay, like that's what she does. She's fun and pleasure, okay? And freedom and choice people are gonna be like, your freedom and choice people would probably say something to the effect of, well, actually, before I tell you my name, why don't you tell me yours? Okay? Like, they're gonna control the situation. So the reason that I'm telling you that is because you can start looking for some things, but you've got to ask more questions. One question is not going to determine what they are to you. Daisha Wiegand is she's one of the top nationals in the entire company. She broke a record for becoming a national sales director inside of 3 years from the time she joined the company. And her husband is they were behind me in the airport last time, and I was like, like he was right behind me. I was like blushing so big. But a lot of people think that Daisha is power and achievement, and she's actually not. She's safety and security. She waited to have her children until she was a national sales director because she wanted to make sure that she could have all the money she needed to raise her children. So again, you have to be really careful making assumptions. So we're going to ask questions. What are some other questions you could ask to determine what is somebody's core need?
What does your life look like right now?
What does your life look like right now? What else? What's important to you? What do you value the most?
Where do you see yourself in?
Where do you see yourself? If you could design your life, what would that look like? And one of my favorite ones is, what was it? I just lost it. I'll think of it later. Anyway, one of the things I want you to understand also is that when you're discerning what somebody else's need is, it's so that you can better serve them. I want to be clear, I'm not teaching any of you this so that you can manipulate it. Because there are certain people, none of you are this person, but that would use it to try to convince. I don't want you to convince people. It's to try to make the information you give them pertinent. Does that make sense? And so let's talk for just a second about what would happen if you have somebody who is a power and achievement person. Okay, so Heidi, you have power and achievement. And she has a guest that she's talking to about Mary Kay. And like we said, love and connection. Okay, you saw what's going to happen. Emily's going to be like, well, I don't know if I can fit this in because I have 18 children and, blah, blah, blah. And Heidi's going to be like, hire a babysitter. Okay, and that's, we can like, it's funny because it was so extreme, but you guys.
That's what you're thinking.
It is, and you have to really
Not
train
say that.
yourself. You have to really train yourself to be like, wait. what would be important to Emily? So if she has a love and connection need, what are the things you're gonna talk to her about with Mary Kay? Relationships with customers, making her own schedule, working around her family.
What the business could do for her family.
What the business could do for her family. Oh, you want them to go to private school? That's expensive. Did you know you can make extra money doing this to send the 18 children to, whatever. All 18, always 18, okay? I'll count it back in there. Yeah, make sure you tell Travis that so he can hate me a little more. Okay, so let's talk, what is another scenario? Somebody give us another scenario.
Combination,
Mm-hmm.
safety and security, and, love and.
Connection.
Thank you.
So let's say Sam, safety and security, is talking with, who's one of my love and connection people? Okay, Maddie, Emily. Sam, what could she easily get fixated on?
Sam get fixated on?
Money.
How much money did you make at that first?
Money. Yeah, she could be coaching her and saying, you know what, how much money did you sell, like how much did you make at your last skincare class? Are you holding up skincare, blah, 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 because she's worried about Emily's safety. When all Emily wants is,
And I don't think I could ever tell you my figures, so.
because she don't know, because she just did it and came home and was like, oh my god, I'm so excited. Sam, I met the greatest people, and they gave me their friendship bread recipe, and we're gonna be best friends, okay? But here's the thing, Emily is completely fulfilled by that. And what's hilarious is that Emily, I can already tell you, has a $633 skincare class average. Woo-hoo!
Yeah.
So she could do more of that and be happy, but if she has somebody pushing too much onto her, so let's say it's not Sam, what if it's Travis? She's gonna come home and be like, babe, I just met these people and they're so beautiful. And he's gonna be like, just sell anything. And now, poor Travis is sleeping on the couch, okay? And that's a sad thing, okay? So I want you to see how this can happen in our business. What happens, give me another dynamic.
Fun and pleasure.
Fun and pleasure.
Empowered achievement.
Empowered achievement. Okay, so if Anthony Wright met Kenya, okay, or in Kenya, okay, this is great. Let's say I'm the power and achievement person considering Mary Kay, and Kenya's the one telling me about it. What's Kenya gonna be?
Please tell me, because this is where I struggle.
Okay, so Kenya is gonna be talking all about what?
It's so much
It's
fun.
so much fun! And we went to the sauna, and I took pictures on the lake, and I went to a brewery on the way here. Okay, and the power and achievement person is like, so how long did it take you to be number one? And Kenya's gonna be like, what? Okay, there was a brewery.
Like, how
Did you hear
get
me?
to go?
Sauna.
Brewery.
Did you hear me? Friends. Did you hear me? Cupcakes. Okay.
Oh, this is a real scenario though. Like I get a lot of people that are like, oh, so do you have a car yet? Well, no, but I'm having so much fun.
And here's the other thing, you guys, this is so important, because what can happen is that power and achievement person will kill her and what she loves about this. You guys, you have to be so careful when you're in a business like this. In every conversation, someone is selling and someone is buying. You can't buy. You cannot buy. I don't have a car because I'm not really interested in earning a car, but go ahead, oh my goodness, you sure can. Or you know what, I'm just not at that point yet, I'm not interested in that. But if you're not careful, she will make you feel bad about what you do or don't do, what you want or don't want. And so that's when you say, well, you know what, that's not really my goal, but I'm killing what I'm looking for. So let's talk a little bit about what you might want. Let's talk a little bit about what you might want. And so if she's power and achievement, what are you gonna feed to me? Powerful employee. You're gonna say, well, you know what, my sales director inside of a year, she became a sales director and she earned a car.
How fast they can do it.
How fast they can do it. How much are they? Well, and you know, I am currently within just a little bit of being number 10 in the entire unit. That's you. Trust me, I looked up the number.
Bouncing up and down on this a little bit.
So do you guys see how easily this can happen? So I will tell you, I do think sometimes, without ever meaning to, we go into conversations with other people and their core need ends up knocking ours down. gotta really, and who does that to you most frequently? Probably yourself, and maybe one other person in your life. Maybe it's a mother, maybe it's a mother-in-law, maybe it's a spouse, maybe it's a friend, but we all have that person that's like, oh God, are you still doing that? Oh God, are you still, and it just kills your dream. And you guys, you have to be aware of that, because here's the probably most important thing I'm gonna teach you about core needs, and that is, sometimes you're gonna go into situations and you have to recognize that your need is not gonna be met. So if you are a love and connection person, and you're going in to deal with a power and achievement person, your need is not gonna be met probably. Does that make sense? Or if you're a love and connection person, and, or like if you're a safety and security person, do not ever ride with Ashley's sister.
Oh.
Oh, I did one time. I
Almost died.
clenched both
Yeah.
legs next to me the whole time.
It was great. So at the end of the day, I'm just telling you guys.
She gets squirrel moments a
Shut
lot,
up.
even while she's driving.
She was eating too in the process, and I'm like,
Yep.
oh my God, we're in the middle of Des Moines.
Oh yeah.
I told her all of that.
So you guys, I
I'll
guess
Uber back, thanks.
when you're in these moments and you catch yourself with your stress behavior, there are some smart questions you can ask yourself. When did I start feeling this way? What happened? What do I need to have that's not being met? What do I need right now that's not being met? Okay? So if you're feeling bad, if you're feeling low, so let's say Kenya's doing an interview with somebody and they're like, when do you have your car yet? And they're all, and then it's like, oh my gosh, now I'm feeling bad about that. She knows like, okay, this was not fun or pleasurable. This person has a very different need than I do. I need to remind myself, what do I want out of this? I'm getting that in spades. I feel really good about where I'm going next, and all I need to ask myself is, what do I want next? Okay? Like, you can be so much more objective and healthy with yourself when you'll ask yourself smart questions, because there are actually dumb questions, and they're usually the ones that we ask when we've been triggered because our need hasn't been met. And it sounds like, what's wrong with me? Why am I not enough? You are. There's nothing wrong with you. You're perfect. You just need to look at what your actual need is and what hasn't been met. So, again, you guys, I want you to really take a second here and ask yourself, what do you need to do on a daily basis to try to have your need met more effectively? So if you're a love and connection person or a fun and pleasure person, what do you need to do on a daily basis so that your need is met first thing in the morning and you can have a better day? So what's yours? What's your core need?
Fun and pleasure.
Fun and pleasure. So Sid, what do you need to do first thing in the morning? What are some things that you could do so that you're starting your day off with your need met? Picking the places that I want to go to. What's going to be my fun adventure today? And you guys, it doesn't all have to be big. Maybe she makes a list of things that are fun to her. I'm going to take a bubble bath. I'm going to take my dog for a walk. I'm going to have lunch with a friend. If that's what is fun for her, she should have a list and then ask herself, which of these am I going to do today? Okay? If you're a safety and security person, what do you need on a daily basis, starting your morning off so that it starts off smooth?
I need to look at my schedule and then either like work in my office for however long I needed to that day, or plan out my day so I know what's coming.
So having your schedule, looking at your list, having your list together even the night before so that when you wake up, there's not that frantic, what am I supposed to do today? You already know. Okay, what about my power and achievement people? What do you think they need? A win. First thing in the morning, they need to sell something, they need to book somebody, they need to make some efforts, and they need to, I'm telling you, I'm about to freak out. They need to have, and I have her, that's gonna be so special.
Take the ring.
Mm-hmm.
She needs to just put a rubber or a ribbon or
You know what,
something.
I've already got it figured out, I know what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna do a diver here in a minute. But, oh God, it's so bad. No, did not do that.
Here.
I got this. Okay. Maybe I don't have it. No, I got it. Okay, I'm good. So if you are I'm sorry, what were we on? Power and achievement. They need to have a win right away. Who are my other ones? Love and connection. What do you guys need to do?
Choice.
Wake up Travis right away. To get your love and connection.
At that bar. And then, like, on the days that I get up earlier than him, I wake him up to tell him goodbye and give him a kiss.
Aww.
And he tells me to be safe.
Aw,
Just
because
safety
he's safety and security.
And you know what's so funny? Tell him to be safe. Maybe he'll say, "I love you." That's right. What else, you guys? What about my
Freedom and choice.
freedom and choice people?
I don't know. I was asking you.
Freedom and choice people.
Have time in the morning to just do whatever the heck you want.
Yeah. Or decide what part of the day is going to be unstructured.
That's probably why my mornings don't start off so good, because my kids are not the first choice I have to deal
Ooh,
with.
isn't that an interesting thought? So you guys, I have done this so out of order. This is so exciting to me to keep this all put together. I guess the only other thing I really want to talk about is what happens when your spouse or spouse is not the same thing as you when it comes to your business.
You have to do what, you have to show them what is important to them in order for them to support it.
And you have to meet your need first.
Yes.
It's kind of like one of those oxygen masks on a plane. You have to have your need met with this, but you do have to feed it to them in the version that they can do. So if I have a freedom and choice person that's in my, like, her trying to squash herself into Eric's safety and security would be a tragedy. Okay? But she's gonna be like, oh my God, we had so much fun. Grace gave me a cupcake, okay? And he's gonna be like, that's great because I love Eric and he's smart. But on the inside, he's thinking, I don't get it. But when she comes home from a party and says, I just made $70 at this facial, like I sold $140, I made $70 for my hour, he can process that. And I don't want you to misconstrue, it doesn't mean that he doesn't love her or support what she's doing, it's that he can't process it because he's not wired that way. Does that make sense? Or maybe you have a mom who's like, safety and security, safety and security, safety and security. But your safety and security is very different, where it's like, my safety and security needs to be making sure that I'm at home and raising my kids or whatever. You can have two people with the very same core need and it feels very different. And let's talk about that. What happens when you have two people that are the same core need? What's the danger you run then?
My mom.
Extremes.
You're okay, so what does that look like, Kenya?
We're both fun pleasure, for sure. And it can be a little overwhelming sometimes, I think. Just because we
How so?
well, we're both very high energy and want to go be social and do things, and then I know, like, my dad goes along with it. To some extent.
I love it.
So it's overwhelming, and it's probably overwhelming to others, right?
Yeah, it can be overwhelming, I think, to myself too sometimes, because I am also a freedom of choice, and I'm not sure that that's my mom's second.
Okay, so sometimes when you're with other people who are the same as you, but your secondaries are off, that's where it'll show up. I bet you're probably extremely right with that. Here's another thing too. So Mark and I are both safety and security.
But differently.
Huh?
But differently.
But differently. How prone do you think we are to take risk? If I didn't have more of a vision to me, we would both be afraid of our own shadows. Okay? We have a couple in our unit. They're two of my favorite people on the planet. I really do love them. They are both safety and security, and they act like the oldest young people I've ever met in my life. I mean, they like do early bird dinner. They cut coupons. I'm not judging it in any capacity, but they look at everything as a risk. And that is okay because they are comfortable with what they like it, so that's all I care about. But I want you to know that there may come a day when that's no longer effective. Does that make sense? So if you're with somebody who's only fun and pleasure all the time, like if you didn't have an Eric, what would your life look like if it was just you and your mom running like crazy?
Really chaos.
It would. And there would be no money or
No.
because you guys would
We're both
forget.
impulse buyers. It's horrible.
Okay? And your mom is at a very different place in her life. Your father also. So you hang out with somebody who's being fun and pleasure at that level, it'll bankrupt you.
My watch just told me I need to breathe having this conversation. I'm not kidding, it's just so my heart is palpitating thinking about you and your mom together.
Here's a really great example of me running together. So it's like this at Christmas time, we time he's like,
Calculated.
do we have to, like, are we paying for this? Or like, who's paying for this? Like, do I have to contribute to this? Like, this is expensive, I can't afford this. Like, like he was whispering all these things in my head, and I'm like, you're killing it, dude. Like,
So she's having fun, but what's happening to him? He's totally stressing out, building up.
Palpitations.
His watch is telling him to breathe, okay?
So like, do you guys see how important this stuff is? It really is just so important. We have a wonderful couple in our unit, Shannon LePay. And Shannon is a total love and connection person, and her love language is touch, which made her so important for me to work with, because I have none of either of those. That's not true, but you know what I mean. And so she would always joke, and she'd be like, "Hi, I'm Shannon, I'm here to touch you." Okay? Because she just wants to hug people, and she's such a toucher, and my daughter, who's also a touch person, when Shannon would come, she'd be like, "Shannon!" And they would